Welcome to the channel. This video I'm going to show you how to prepare spare ribs. Now I got a slab of pork spare ribs and I just take it out the plastic, rinse it off. All right, and so right now we are going to try to cut some of this little fat here on the backhand side. So make sure you get a clean, cutting surface. And what we're doing, we're just going to peel this back right here, and I want you to get a bowl, a big bowl, or a big pot, so you can just set these little shavings off in, and I'll show you what we're going to do with those next. So now we have a paper towel, and what I'm pointing to now is we're going to pull off this thin membrane off of the back side of your ribs, right? I remember making ribs years ago, and they were always chewy. And my cousin, God bless his soul, he told me, he was like, "You silly." He's like, "You got to take that membrane off. That's why they're chewy." So if you ever have some ribs somebody's made and they're chewy, either one of the options is they didn't take this off, or they don't really know how to cook ribs, right? As far as for the timing of it. So you see how I'm putting my fingers kind of under it, and I'm just sliding as I grip it and I pull back. Now what you want to do, you want to go ahead and reposition and get like to the base of it and just tug lightly until it comes off, just like so. So got the majority of it off of it right there, and you can just really throw that one in the garbage, but kind of everything else you may want to keep, right? So we're just going to keep cleaning this up right here. Again, the paper towel is for if you can't get it underneath your fingers, go ahead and get a paper towel and keep pulling back like you see me doing right here. So now we are going to cut the rib tips off. Now this is, you see that little cartilage right underneath there? That's what I'm pointing to. That's right there, that point right there. That is usually my cutting point, right? Now you see I got my knife right there. Now I usually don't cut it like this, but I'm doing it just to show you all, right? So these are the rib tips. So if you ever see pork ribs at the store and you see St. Louis style cut or just St. Louis style ribs, it means they cut the rib tips off. And I love rib tips. And honestly, spare ribs, you will get more bang for your buck. So they usually charge for spare ribs about maybe $8 or $12 for a slab, and while you may see St. Louis style ribs for the same price, but you get more bang for your buck. All right, so you see this little part right here that I'm just going to cut off. Again, put that back in your bowl. As far as for your rest of your meat shavings, and pretty much St. Louis style cut is just pretty much cutting it to pretty much a rectangular shape and cutting the rib tips off. So this is why I like buying spare ribs. And also, you got your spare ribs, your bones, then you got your rib tips. So as you saw, I already cut the rib tips off, and you see that's how you generally want the shape of your ribs, right? And so there's my whole strip of rib tips. Now you see, it has a little bit of bones in it, but it's mainly cartilage, right? So you want to cut these in about like an inch and a half width, right? Kind of just get a feel for it. There's one part of your rib tip slab that is really like thick and kind of bony. It may be towards the end, but you see how I'm just cutting these up until like maybe about an inch and a half width, right? And I'm gonna these are going to be my rib tips, and I'm just going to put these in the bowl on the side, and we're going to have these just as well. All right, see how thick that is? And that's pretty good size rib tip right there, right? So what's the use of not buying spare ribs to make sure you have that? Now here's my trick to preparing ribs. Mayo. Put a light layer of mayo. You want to start off on the back side, right? Get the back side nice and kind of like lathered up, just like a little thin layer. And now we're going to add this nature seasoning: black pepper, salt, onion powder, and garlic powder. It's everything all in one. You need to have this in your cabinet as far as for seasoning. It is the best, right? So now what I'm going to do the same thing. I turn it over. I put it on a cookie sheet or a baking sheet because I've actually got two slabs of ribs that I'm doing. But the top side or front side, you want to put a little bit more mayo on it. Don't drown it out, but just a nice little thin layer. You're just going to just rub it in just like so. Now, I'm telling you, once I started doing this, my ribs came out of the oven. Man, just like a light crisp on the top. The taste is, I'm telling you, you just got to do it for yourself. I'm not going to hype it up anymore. So we got some more of this nature seasoning, right? And you just want to layer that on, right? Just go ahead and get a nice layer of that on so all those seasonings can soak down into the meat as it's baking. All right, so now we got that done. Now we're going to do the same thing with our rib tips. Remember that bowl I was telling you to set aside? Well, here it is. Now we're going to do the same thing, put a light layer of mayo. Just a light layer. I know you may think it's weird, but hey, you know what? Don't knock it until you try it. So just a light helping of mayo. It's a lot of rib tips in here, right? And so this is nothing but just, man, good meat and some good fats in there. If you're doing keto, you know, this is it. So this is honestly one of like the main staples in my keto diet for the moment. And now I'm going to add some more nature seasoning, right? But I want to do something a little different with my rib tips. I don't want them to taste the same as my spare ribs. So now I'm going to add some crushed red pepper flakes to it because, you know what? I want a little bit of spice. So go ahead and put, you know, a generous amount on there. Depends on how much heat you want. I like heat on my rib tips, but I still want to at least taste the flavor of the meat. Pause. And so now what you want to do after you get through, you know, sprinkle some of that on there, just with your hands. Don't be afraid to get down and dirty. Go ahead and just mix all of that up. Go ahead, mix all of that up and make sure it's well distributed. You know, grab from the bottom and, you know, just go ahead and just mix it in. All right, this next step right here, this is just me being extra. I wanted some more flavor. I wanted more flavor. I got these in my smoker and I'm smoking these with some hickory smoke. I just wanted to get about an hour's worth of just smoke flavor. I'm not really cooking them. I'm just getting that smoke flavor in there. I was really wanting that. So the oven is at 325, right? And you just want to put them in the oven covered with aluminum foil. Now you want to bake these at about 325, 350 for 1 hour. Then you want to take the aluminum foil off and then bake it again for another hour. And this is how they turn out. They turn out perfect, right? So if you want a quick way to do ribs in the oven, about 2 hours. This is all you really need. Just go ahead and skip that smoking part if you don't have a smoker. But look at that. That's right there. As soon as I get this camera to zoom in. I appreciate you taking time out to watch this video. Please let me know what you think about these ribs. Go ahead and try them out. Try this recipe out. And yeah, I'm glad I made this video. Shout out to my sister, Elise Robinson. Go ahead and check her out at beaforeigner.com. And I will catch you all later. Peace out.